Alright guys, I'm Daisho and I'm here playing some more Magic, and today we're going to be using Firewave, which is one of my favorite decks in this game. I like all the decks pretty much, except for maybe a couple. Enter the Dracomancer, Masks of Dimir, looking at you guys. So, I don't know, maybe those two will turn out a little bit better. But for now, I'm just going to push those way off into the future, and maybe I'll do them in a future day. Although I guess I'll probably do Enter the Dracomancer pretty soon. But I'm trying to cover the decks that are going to be the most important to you at the start, and I think that Firewave is one of those because it's a pretty good counter to all the aggressive decks that you're seeing, and it can still handle some of the slower decks like the Eldrazi deck as well, I believe. So we got paired up against Mad Rung, and hopefully we can defeat him with our mad skills. Okay, so this hand is immediately okay, and I'm going to keep it. I've got some lands, which I can use to cast my 4 and 5 drops. Later on in the game, I've got a Goblin Arsonist, which I can use to gum up the ground early, hopefully. And I've got a Browbeat, which, if my opponent's bad, can do a lot. Otherwise, it'll still do 5 damage. And it looks like we might be playing against Illusions. Yep. Phantasmal Bear, which you should know what that means, is that Goblin Arsonist is going to be our new MVP. And there's another one. It's really just excellent. I guess I could probably attack with it, but I'm not going to, just in case he this is really weird, but if he makes the play Lord of the Unreal, attack with Grizzly Bear, dude, Phantasmal Bear, then we can just throw both of our dudes in front of the bear. That'll deal 2 damage to it, and then we can deal 2 damage to the Lord as well. So we're just gonna hope that our opponent's this bad. Yes! Oh my god. Yes! I can't believe it. This is exactly how I designed it in my mind. And then when the Lord of the Unreal dies from the 2 pings, it will kill the Grizzle Blues, because it'll lose that extra toughness that it got. So, just immediate, exactly what I want to be doing. Alright, so choose a player to draw 3 cards. Very important that you get these right. And then it's going to ask me what I want to do, and I want to let the player draw 3 cards. Hopefully my opponent is of the same mentality and will give me a couple of cards. He's like, whatever, you can draw, it doesn't matter. And, come on, Mad Rung. Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Just, obviously, my opponent is a terrible player, and made 2 critical mistakes that, if they had gone different ways, it could have been a different game. But I think I'll be okay in terms of knocking this one down, knocking the jump shot down. All right, so we got 4 lands. We could play Chandra's Outrage, but I think I'll just toss a Firewing Phoenix out there. And now all I really need to do is survive until I get my Inferno Titan on the battlefield. Oh, and my opponent is stuck on lands. That is interesting. But that does mean, since he missed a land drop last turn, that all these 5 cards in hand are probably spells, which should make my work considerably harder. But since I got those 2 extra cards from the Browbeat, I know I drew 3, but it replaces itself and then gives you 2 extra ones. So I think it should be a pretty good game. Alright, so Blind Phantasm, not a big deal. I mean, it doesn't really matter to me right here if my opponent attacks or not. I'm not going to block, because I have a considerably high amount of life and I can kill that thing for free later on. And I know that I can get my Firewing Phoenix back, but there we go. That's the land that I was looking for. And now I just need to resolve my Inferno Titan. So what that means is, if my opponent doesn't cast a spell, then I know that he's going to be able to hold back for a counter. Plus, I'm ahead on board, which is the crazy part. I'm ahead on mana, board, and cards, just because of the way my opponent's played this game. So, I mean, I guess this isn't really such a good indication of how good the deck is, because it would have been a closer game. But when you think about it, no matter how my opponent played, the not attacking at the beginning would slow the game down to a point where I would maybe be able to cast my Inferno Titan eventually anyway. So, I mean, the Browbeat thing was pretty bad, though. But again, could have gone either way. So, Now we just are lucky that our opponent played Frost Breath, which, I mean, it wasn't a terrible play that time, but we do get to look at a couple of guys and then hit them upstairs. And that's pretty much the game. There's not really much that my opponent can do to come back from this. Especially with my board presence. Even without my board presence, I think I'd be winning. If I had none of these creatures on the battlefield. Alright, Mad Run. Looks like maybe he just forgot to play a land on turn 2 or something like that. Otherwise, he's just drawn running lands for the past 3 turns. I guess on turn 3, forgot to play land. Unsummon. Make me pick up my Inferno Titan. That would be the play, I suppose, but not great. If you don't attack, I'm going to be very upset. I mean, it's not going to be blocking any of my flyers, so really not much else to do. Alright. Glad that he came to the realization that attacking was the right play there. So, it doesn't really matter what I do here. I just have to cast any of the spells in my hand, and I'll be able to win the game next turn. And no matter which one I do cast, I can't cast 2, but it doesn't really matter, because even if he does counter this one, then I can just... Actually, let's... I don't see myself losing this one, but just going to be a little bit more cautious, because there's no point in not doing it that way. I can just Lava Axe him next turn. Yeah, this game really worked out. Claustrophobia. It's a good answer to Inferno Titan. Makes it so that I can't attack anymore. Doesn't matter. It is a good answer though. Because I've got a Lava Axe in hand. I guess I probably should have just played that first, in case my opponent wanted to concede. Ooh, style points. Just Chandra's Outrage, my own Magma Phoenix, which will blow up the world and do 3 damage to my opponent. So, yeah, that was the only way I couldn't have won. I couldn't have cast either of the Lava Axes in my hand. But anyway, hope you guys... I guess I'll play another one, so we don't have to end the video right now, but I don't want you in my game. Sorry, sir. Yeah. I mean, as much as I enjoy winning, I think to make good videos, I should probably play against a more experienced player. I mean, I think that Mad Run could get there eventually. He had some good plays. Attacking with the Blind Phantasm is something that not everyone would see to do, but there were a couple other plays that were just like, oh, well, I guess I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, we will we'll let him off the hook here. But, I mean, that was ideally what I want my deck to do. Browbeat, drawing me 3 cards is... It's so hard to lose the game after browbeating to draw 3 cards. Because generally what that means is that your opponent's in a situation... Yeah, I'll keep it. In a situation where they can't... they can't survive the 5 damage. But this hand's okay. It's got some ways to deal with early aggression in Disintegrate and Flames of the Firebrand. Leading off with a blue cannot be bad because it's a good indicator that my opponent has is playing illusions, because people don't usually play that Dimir pile. I need to make sure that I don't accidentally cast Final Fortune. That would be bad news. And throw the Searing Spear at his face. Don't really need it. I've got some other removal that I can use. I guess instant speed removal wouldn't have been bad, but we are not going to waste that Flames of the Firebrand, especially considering the deck that we're playing against. Most likely. Because I don't really know. Because he's not playing anything. Oh. Alright, so I'm going to draw 2 and discard 4. Can't say that I'm that upset. How many lands do I have? 3? Yep, that's fine. I mean, it was an interesting play. But I did get to look a couple of cards deeper into my hand, and I got to get rid of that Final Fortune, which I didn't really need anyway. But losing those lands might come back to hurt me. So I'm going to be less conservative with this Flames of the Firebrand, now that I know that my opponent has got, or is not playing the Illusions deck, which I previously had thought. Alright, or maybe, actually I don't remember, now that I think about it, which deck which Wistful Thinking is. I thought it was in the Dimir deck, but I've only seen Islands, and I know that Unsummon is in the Illusions deck. But let's see what we can do with our Kiln Fiend. My opponent did miss out on an opportunity to cast that Unsummon at instant speed. I would have Flames of the Firebranded, and then I wouldn't have been able to cast this thing, and I would have wasted the free instant power boost thing. Free instant power boost, yeah. You're good at talking, Daisho. You should do this more often, and make sure that you do it in front of a lot of people. So I'm really hoping to draw Grim Lavamancer, I guess, now. With these 5 cards in my graveyard, it'll just have fuel forever, and especially since these 3 are also instants or sorceries that I can play. They're actually all sorceries, but cards that I can play and immediately go straight to the graveyard. Haven't really seen much from my opponent, and I'm assuming that's because he's stuck on colors, but I'm not really sure. There's a Lava Axe. I guess I'll Flames of the Firebrand. Man, this would have been ridiculous if it counted as 3 different... I mean, it doesn't matter for this one, but for the other one, 3 different sources for Chandra Spitfire. That'd be nuts. I wonder if I can win the game next turn. Nah. Well, no. I'll be 1 short. Unless I draw land. If I draw land, then I can win the game next turn, but it's probably not worth trying. There's a Phantasmal Image. So, my opponent, in the end, is playing the Illusions deck. And there's a Kiln Fiend. Phantasmal Image. So it's kind of unfortunate that I tossed that Flames of the Firebrand. I wish I had just used a Disintegrate. But maybe I should have used Disintegrate anyway. I figured this card is a little bit more versatile at this point in the game, considering which deck I thought I was playing against, but... Got anything else for me, Momo-kun? Doesn't look like it, but maybe. Nope, no chat. And another Phantasmal Image. Okay. Well, the thing is... No, okay. Goblin Arsonist. I can deal X damage where X is 0 to each of these things, which is pretty nice. I guess if this had been a 1 or 2 mana instant spell, then I would have been able to win the game. And it's a weird situation, and I really hope I don't get unsummoned, but that's where we're at here. I'm gonna wait to play the Goblin Arsonist till post-combat. But, I mean, even if I do get unsummoned here, which it doesn't look like I'm going to, there is still a possibility for me to win this game because I have a Lava Axe in hand and she's already down to 10. He's already down to 10. I just said she because the avatar. I don't know. But now we're looking good. Still can lose. It's just rather unlikely. It would have to be like 2 creatures plus hold up for counterspell. It looks like nothing. Well, I guess I need to still draw land for that Lava Axe. What? Why did my opponent concede? Okay. I think I still attack with both because he has to block Kiln Fiend. Yeah. And then he takes 1 from the Goblin Arsonist. And I guess it doesn't really matter, but... Royal Elemental. Start nabbing dudes. Alright. Is this thing an illusion? No, it's an elemental. Chandra's Spitfire. Huh. Interesting. I think I'm just going to play the Spitfire out and ship the turn back. But I don't know why my opponent conceded. I'm still, I think, a very high favorite to win this game. Alright, so he's just going to take my dude. If he didn't have a land last turn, it's not too crazy to think that he wouldn't have a land this turn. So there's very little that just deals 1 damage to him. So I think I'm just going to murder that Lord just to save some hit points. Well, there's a Sulfuric Vortex. So now, again, land cards will win me the game, but we were already on that, so that wasn't too useful. And I don't know why my opponent played a land out there. That seems a little bit dumb. But yeah, getting rid of those lands early on with that wistful thinking seems to one of the very few cards. I think that there's like there's only a couple of 5-drops left in the deck. There's just so few cards that won't win me the game right on the spot. But if I do draw a land, it's very important to just cast or get rid of it with Seismic Assault rather than trying to cast a Lava Axe. So it's this turn or bust. If I draw another, oh, that's not even good enough. So the cards were just not with me at the end. I was just drawing 5-drops and stuff that I couldn't cast. And I guess if I hadn't cast this thing, then maybe I would have been able to win. But wow, that's really disappointing. That loss. I don't think it counts as a loss for the ladder because my opponent quit out, but yeah, it's pretty disappointing. Anyway, I don't think that you can really blame. Well, I guess you sort of can blame the deck for that loss. It was just some terribly unfortunate drawing, I think. But yeah, I guess we'll play a third one. Why not? Why not? Come on, guys. Why not? Just do it. It'll be fine. Pretty sad after after losing that last one. But Royal Elemental is a really powerful card. But I don't understand just the thought process behind that. I drew Royal Elemental? Gosh, concede. I don't know. But, I mean, like, I was doing a ton of damage to my opponent every turn. And then all of a sudden, it was just, I don't know. Maybe if I hadn't played the Flames of the Firebrand, I for sure would have won because I would have had an extra Disintegrate in my hand. Anyway. No big deal. Anybody, alright, cool. Ready to go. Ready to go. Alright. My opponent's playing first. And this hand isn't wonderful. I got a couple of things that I can't really do much with. Final Fortune and Reverberate. I'm gonna draw a new one. I only have a couple of lands. Ooh. This is a little bit risky. Alright, a Mountain on turn 1 into a Goblin Arsonist. So I am playing against the Burn deck. Burn Mirror is not appreciated. Becomes a very awkward game, but there's a Seismic Assault, which is a sweet draw since I started with 5 lands, which means that I had a pretty decent chance of just getting flooded, but now we're not going to get flooded out of this game, which is nice. Got a couple of Chandra's Outrages, which might just end up being useless. But we'll see. If we get an early Kiln Fiend, that might do some work. So, no, I think I'm just going to save the Disintegrate just to dome him later on in the game. I was thinking that I won't have much of a better thing to kill than the Goblin Arsonist, but I think that I will. Alright, so there's a Pilgrim's Eye. Not gonna say that that's a terrible card, but it's a pretty bad card and pretty useless for the deck. It's not like the deck is really trying to get to that much mana. And it doesn't need to find its other colors. I think Pilgrim's Eye would have been better suited in a deck that actually had multiple colors. Alright, there's a Flames of the Firebrand. So, let's do that. Save me some damage over the long run and get to hit him in the face for one. Not terrible. So, those 2 creatures ended up drawing a land and dealing 3 damage to me. And I guess costing me a spell. So, I guess it was sort of worth it. But We'll see. Alright, so I haven't been drawing land so far, which is nice. Well, let's see what you got. Gadthorpain. Another land. So, I think I'll keep 5 on the battlefield at any given time just in case I draw a Lava Axe, but there's only one 6-mana spell, which is Inferno Titan, so it's not really worth playing that land out. I'll just keep it in hand. And there's also no point in using the Seismic Assault yet, because you can just wait until you have like 5 lands in hand and then just chuck them all at their face. Alright, so there is a perfect target for my Chandra's Outrage. I don't think that there's a real reason to wait on casting it. So let's... I mean, there's no reason to not wait. I'm trying to figure out of a reason to hold on to it. Maybe there's a Goblin Warpaint? No, there isn't a Goblin Warpaint. Guess we can see if my opponent has another play that I'm going to need to save the Chandra's Outrage for, but strongly doubt that. There's a Chandra's Phoenix. I'm going to disintegrate that, I think. Probably the right play. The question is, do I take an extra 2 damage from it so that I can get some extra damage off my Kiln Fiend? And the answer is probably no. I don't particularly want to go, because I'm already losing the life battle by a little. It's important for me to not be playing these lands. I think I can go down. No, there's no point, because there's such a high chance that my opponent has a removal spell for my Kiln Fiend that it seems like a bad idea to just wait. But either way, my opponent is at a virtual 13, because I can just take him down to 13 at instant speed. So we still have our work cut out for us, but the good thing is that every land can just turn into 2 mana or into 2 damage, so basically every spell in our deck is live. What you got, Gadthorpain? Just a Firecat? I mean, Firecat works for me. I can just kill it with my Chandra's Outrage and get the bonus on my Kiln Fiend, which can only help. There's another land, and that means that I can take my opponent down to 15 with this Outrage, and 11 with this Kiln Fiend, and then 3 more with these land, or 6 more with these lands. So if I draw Lava Axe next turn, then I can actually just straight up win the game. But the best part about Seismic Assault is that it provides me with a safety net. So if my opponent casts something like Inferno Titan, and as you see I'm out of burn spells, then I can just kill it and deal with it. So, man, this card is so powerful. Still 4 cards in hand for my opponent, though. And I don't think that he played a land last turn. Alright, Chandra's Outrage. Reasonable. I expected that a while ago, but happy to see that happen here. Alright, so there's just a Pillar of Flame, which I will cast. Guess probably could have hung on to it, but I want to make sure, like now, if I draw, well, I guess if I drew Disintegrate, then yeah, it still would have been game, I think. Yeah, for sure. 7 mana now. I mean, we're two turns away from winning this game pretty much regardless of what we draw. I guess it could be a creature that doesn't end up getting in for damage. But, alright, there's another land. So we just need one more land, and then we can start flinging them at his face. And there's a Flame Break, so that'll be enough. We don't even have to untap. But I guess we wait till my opponent plays some stuff. Alright, let's do our work. I guess it's somewhat important to let these resolve first, because if you put them all in the stack and then your opponent has a way to to just kill you in response, then since I have an extra land, I can do it. I can still win, because if my opponent would respond here with like 4 mana, deal 8 damage to you, and also Fire Blast you, then I'd be able to win. So obviously my burn deck is a little bit more trimmed down than my opponent was, and that was one of the best ways I won. So unfortunately I didn't get to show you a great example of how good this deck is, but trust me, I will be playing this deck again in the future. But I hope you guys still managed to enjoy this video, and have a nice day. Bye.